Thokozani, Thokozani, Thokozani family, ndabezitha ninjani, Tate Tloli, Tloti ninjani. Hi everyone, hi, it's Jemmy. Hi guys, Thokozani, Thokozani, unannounced as usual. I had a moment and I realized that today was such an important day. I thought, hey, I need to come on and talk about some things. Lots of messages coming through, and I figured let me come on and let's have a chit chat. Thokozani, how's everyone doing? How are you all? Agracia Mola Togoza. I hope I'm saying the name Agracias. Please tell me if I'm saying the names correctly. Hello. Thank you for the love. Please tap the screen, guys. Let's tap the screen. Let's just get that energy up. Let's get that vibration up. I have so much to say. I have a lot to say tonight. This might be a long one. I might end up having to cut it short and then restart on a totally different topic. But lots of cosmic movements, lots and lots of things happening. And I wanted to share because thank you, my love. Who's this EJ saying looking beautiful? Thank you. We need to talk, family. We need to talk because there's a lot going on that I need to make you aware of if you're not aware of it already. So I just, we're almost at 100. Oh, it's going up fast. Please tap that screen. Tap. Let's get it to as many likes as possible because that'll boost it in the algorithm and then we can get going. Thokozani. I'm feeling a little some type of way, but we will do this and get through it. Queens and kings of Kemet, Hotep royals, Hotep Hetepu, Thokozani, Amakwini lesedi khanya, Tobela, Kwaziwai, Jambo, Nangadef. It's yes, please also share the live, guys. Somebody said please, share this live. Let's do some work tonight. I come to you with so much. It's a lot, and I'm going to start at the very top so that we get ourselves grounded. If you're not understanding what you're feeling, what you're going through right now, understand that we are in a full moon tonight. The full moon energy usually starts a day before the actual full moon, then the actual full moon itself, which is tonight, July 21st. And then as we move on out, July 22nd, that energy is still potent. And so normally I like to do full moon videos before the actual full moon so you guys can prepare if there's a ritual that I give. But today it's not about giving you a ritual. It's literally the urgency I've been feeling, and Spirit has been kicking me in the butt to come and talk about this throughout this whole week. And as you know, I only just got back from South Africa, so I've been battling jet lag and, all sorts of other things, trying to be there for my girls but they literally kicked me up. Yes, you've been crying a lot. You gotta be crying a lot. Listen, if you're feeling emotional, if you're feeling like crying, if you're feeling low, I want you to do something for me. I'm going to tell you what the energy is so you can know what to do. The full moon we're experiencing, guys, remember we are in the season of Set. We are in the last days of the season of Set the Destroyer. Set in isiZulu it's Umbidlizi, in isiSuthu it's Musinyi. We are in the last days. Matter of fact, come July 23rd, we usher in the season of Ma'at, which is order, balance, justice, harmony. Now, we always know if you look at the calendar, that in order to have order, you have to have had chaos. So if you're feeling chaotic right now, especially with this new moon energy, understand that it's that conjunction of this full moon and the energy of Set. Why are you feeling the way you're feeling? Why may you be feeling sad? Why may you be feeling grief? Why may you be feeling a sense of resistance to change? Oh, stay with me. Ooh, spirit is high. It is because you are refusing, either subconsciously or consciously, to let go of things that no longer serve you. Now, I want us to stay focused because there's a lot that's going on that has to do with the destruction. The season of Set has been a season of destruction, a season of chaos, a season of literally anything that wasn't in my art was getting dealt with. I can speak personally of experiences I've had during this entire season of Set, which started on the 23rd of June and is running until 23rd of June till the 22nd of, which is tomorrow basically, is when we end the season of Set. Many of us have been resisting this change. Many of us have been resisting this destruction. And I want to take it from your personal level, and then we're going to expand it out as Bagwantu so that you can situate yourself in these universal energies and understand that as above, so below, as within, so without, right? So if you've been feeling chaotic, if you've been feeling a resistance, if you've been feeling down, especially this last week as we build up towards the end of season of Set and as we build up towards the full moon, it means that Spirit is challenging you to let go of things that no longer serve you. How many of you are feeling like your jobs are becoming unbearable? How many of you are feeling like the workspace is becoming intolerable? Like you wake up in the morning and you feel like, oh my goodness. How many of you are experiencing negativity in your workspace? How many of you are experiencing hostility that's inexplicable? People suddenly don't like you. People are irritated by you. Like work has become a thorn in your flesh. Every time you wake up in the morning and you think of going to work, you wake up and you're like, ugh, your energy is immediately down. I have news for you. If you look at what is happening on a global scale, what did I tell you? And I've been saying, and Kulun Singh is at GK has been saying, the republics, the system is destroying itself and is being destroyed. This is the prevailing energy that we're in, right? Now, if you're an employee somewhere, who and ultimately what are you working for? You are working for a corporation, you're working for a firm, you're working for a grocery store, you're working for a bank. What do these tiny pieces, what do they make up? They make up the system. That is what? That is being currently destroyed. So, if you think of who benefits from this system, if you think of how much you get paid versus what you put in this system, who's ultimately benefiting from the system? Remember, the system was not created by Bagwantu, right? All these supermarket chains and whatnot, even those black-owned supermarkets, black-owned whatever, it's not us. We are literally feeding energy, both in terms of physical energy and in terms of spiritual currency. We are literally feeding a system that is toxic to us. It is now being destroyed. So what do you think is going to happen job-wise? I'm not talking about the destruction of your job. I'm talking about the destruction or the intolerance or the unbearableness of you being at work. What do you think is going on? The Neteru, Your ancestors are taking you out of there, whether you like it or not. And I always say this with this prevailing energy. You cannot resist the prevailing energy, no matter how hard you try. Nobody can. The palm-colored creatures are trying it, they're failing dismally. Look at the continent and look at what's happening. Just a few days ago, Gabon and Senegal have left ECOWAS. ECOWAS is that organization of West African states. Do you know what the president of Senegal said and why he was leaving? Because he said, this organization, number one, it's led by a fraud. It's led by the president of Nigeria, whom Nigerians did not elect into power and who Nigerians do not want, number one. Number two, this organization, what is it actually doing for African people? What it's doing for African people is it is perpetuating a Western agenda. ECOWAS is controlled by Britain, the United States, and some other countries in the West. Why? The president of Senegal said, and remember, he's one of the young ones. He's probably about the same age as Ibrahim Traore. The newly elected president said, well, we get our agenda for the things we discuss from the West. We are not, as ECOWAS, sitting to meetings to discuss how to help Africa, how to help our people with our problems. Instead, we are pushing an agenda, after which ECOWAS collects the minutes of these meetings and summits, where they waste a whole bunch of money on useless nonsense, and send it back where? To the West. So ECOWAS, in a way, it's like a sellout body that literally is collecting information on member states and telling member states how to run their countries in the sense of how to make it easy for Western countries to loot. Then they have to send a report. Within ECOWAS, there's no longer real trust because those, I don't know how you can be genuine as a politician, but put it this way. Those who are genuinely invested in the progress of their countries are being spied upon by the sellout members who are real puppets and lackeys of the West. So this young guy said, nah, we're out. Then Gabon was like, nah, we're out. So do you see, when we talk about the destruction of Western systems and structures across the continent, we are seeing it in real time, right? Just recently, I don't know if it's the if it's the youth representative in Kenya, gave a statement and said, we do not want a government of national unity because who is it going to serve? Literally, the republics on the African continent are going to topple one by one. I've said it before and I'm going to keep saying it. They're in the spirit realm, they're already defeated. Now what we're going to see is the chaos in this realm, the physical realm. And you as spirit beings having a human experience ought not to fear, but you ought to understand the movements of this energy if you stay aligned and you stay awake. Fear is not our friend right now. Because we're going to see things that we have not yet seen. I've said this before. So fear is not your friend because fear will cause you to vibrate low. And we know that there's certain entities on this planet that literally feed off your low vibrational state, which is why they've kept us as a collective in a low vibrational state where we're stressed, where we're crying, where we're hungry, where we're seeing unaliving of our own every day, where basically the Black condition has been nothing but stress for centuries. And that is the energy that has fed this system. So now, as within, so without. You as a spirit being, as Umuntu, are not going to feel comfortable in your job space because that space is now being shaken and is being destroyed. Therefore, you go to work in the morning, you feel some type of way, you're not okay there. That is your call to leave. That is your call to let go. None of this was ever designed for us. I know many of you are sitting there saying, well, Mkhulu, it's all very well for you to say, just leave. No, it's not about just leave. Strategize. Start planning your exit. Put it out into the ethers. Put it out into the universe. Speak to Ma Unomkhubulwane. Speak to Umvelingangi Asar to say, I hear you. I'm hearing the call. I'm ready. And then watch what happens for you that will assist you in exiting so that you can set yourself up doing whatever it is you want to do. Many of you are called to the healing space. Many of you are being called to the healing space. You're not heeding that call because you're too busy in the system. You're too busy with the material. And you miss the point. If you don't take care of the spiritual first, forget about the material. If you don't take care of the spiritual first, you can have all the material things you want. You will still feel this dis-ease. You will still feel this emptiness. Because your spirit doesn't get fed by material things. Your spirit doesn't eat food. Your spirit needs spiritual nourishment. It needs the practices and the exercises that will allow your spirit to breathe, to be free, and to grow. You're here to grow and to learn. So put the energy of set chaos, then put the full moon. You're going to feel some type of way. You're going to feel some type of way. You're either going to be aware that, okay, it's the full moon and we're in the last season of Set, so the chaos is intense, and you'll feel it. Why? Because it's happening on the outside, as I've explained. As within, so without. Whatever is happening on the outside, you're going to feel it on the inside. Because we are energy and we are connected to the torus field of the earth. Your personal torus field extend outward into the torus field of the earth. So you're going to feel whatever is going on with Mother Gaia. Does that make sense? So I wanted to touch on that tonight because I was like, man, there's going to be a lot of confusion tonight and tomorrow as people are like, what is going on? But believe you me, the call to let go of what doesn't serve you includes your jobs for a lot of you. If it's not showing in your job right now, it's coming. Like people ain't supposed to stay plugged into the system. Let me tell you something. Why? Our liberation will come through multiple channels of action, of collective action. Imagine what a stay away, 2-day stay away from work, a collective stay away where people in a certain country or people in a certain town or city just decide, you know what, we're not leaving our houses today. For 2 days, what do you think will happen to the system and the businesses that are in that place? I'm not talking the Black-owned businesses that are in your communities where you buy your bread or your milk. I'm talking about corporations. I'm talking about tellers staying out of banks. I'm talking about people stay home. I'm talking about fast food chains that don't serve you, but actually they poison you. All the workers, they're saying, no, you know what? We're not going to be part of the system that is killing us collectively. We're just going to stay home. 2 days. What do you think will happen? You guys remember how they crippled Starbucks over Palestine? How much did Starbucks lose? People got fatigued in the end. I don't know if people are still doing Starbucks. But what I'm trying to show you, Bagwantu, is the power that we have as a collective. The power that we have when we unite. Our major problem is we're all thinking individualistically. Our major problem is we're all thinking about our own bread and butter. We have forgotten who we are, which is Abantu. Abantu, meaning I'm not well if you're not well. This was done purposely. The individualism and teaching you about the nuclear family, take care of I, me, and myself, was done deliberately. So that at a time like this, instead of uniting, you're busy caucusing with your little family, trying to think how much water you need to put in your basement, trying to think of how much food you need, tinned food and stuff you need to stock up in your bunker just in case. It's precisely what they want. Precisely how this system was designed, so that we forget that when we unite, we have power. People in the United States, if you have read the history of the 60s, you know what boycotts used to do here. The bus boycott. So many things during the civil rights era when people were still on fire about the Black nation and being free. What has happened to us, you ask? This is the 60s. Why do we seem so tired and jaded? Well, several things, because the people who started those revolutions didn't really see them to the end. The same as the people who on the continent who started the liberation movements didn't see it to the end. They sold out just before they reached the finish line and decided that they were going to negotiate with the colonizer. You cannot negotiate with that creature. The minute they say, come, let's sit, let's negotiate, you're finished. Because all you've done is given them an opportunity to entrench themselves further. You've given them an opportunity to rally their energy. Because remember, by the time you're reaching the finish line, you're almost done with them. They're the ones who call for negotiations because they realize that if this carries on, they're going under, they're going to be defeated. So what do instead? They say, come, let's negotiate. You're giving them an opportunity to rally their troops, to reload their pew-pews, and to really come for you. And this is where we are. Are we going to continue repeating this cycle over and over again? Our liberation fighters were told to disarm and to come from the bush where they were waging serious wars across the continent for liberation. They were told, okay, hold up, ceasefire, come on in, let's sit at the table. There was Lancaster House, there was whatever, different conferences where they were called, let's sit down and let's negotiate. How do you negotiate with somebody who has stolen from you, who has pillaged and plundered? That was the first mistake. Why am I saying all this? I'm saying all this so that you get aligned with the energy of the now. You get aligned with this energy that is now coming in, the energy of Ma'at. We're in the age of Ma'at, right? I've told you, the age of Aquarius. But now we're coming into the season of Ma'at. So it's order, like, right? After all this destruction of Set. So y'all better come right. Because anything that isn't in Ma'at, remember Set is always there to destroy that. So as we come into the season of Ma'at, whose color is purple, royalty, I love Ma'at, let us do some serious meditation and thinking about unity, authentic unity. If we continue to focus on the things that divide us, Ma'at will deal with us thoroughly this coming season. We will be dealt with thoroughly because remember, it's order, it's justice, it's truth, it's balance, it's harmony. So anywhere where those things are not in existence, she's coming for us. And it's not going to be fun. Within yourself, if you're not okay, if you're not right, if you're not living by those 42 confessions of Ma'at and meditating on them. By the way, here's a challenge. Okay, here's some spiritual work for you. Season of Ma'at is coming in 23rd of July. Get yourself the 42 confessions of Ma'at. put them somewhere or everywhere in your house. I don't know, print them out, put them everywhere. Start meditating so that you can live according to them. This is what being spiritual means. This is what realignment means. The season of Ma'at is a beautiful time to really hone in on starting that self-work, that self-accountability, because that is what Ma'at demands. You don't need external police people. You need you. You need Anpu within you. Anpu is discernment within you to assist you in upholding Ma'at. Start. And remember, balance, order, justice, truth, and harmony are also required of us as a community. So you got to ask yourself some hard questions about where you're at in terms of being a disruptive energy or a destructive energy or a hurt causing energy in the spaces you occupy. Now, I'm not talking about some fake peace where you are being peaceful, but at the same time, at the expense of change or at the expense of self. I'm not saying don't have confrontations. I'm not saying no. What I am saying, though, is, are you living in awareness of the effect of the energy you carry into any space or place? Personal accountability is really important in the season that we're going into. But more on that on another video. I will come and talk about all the beautiful things of Ma'at but for now, I wanted us to just hone in on this energy of Set and the full moon energy, which is causing people to feel really chaotic. Yes, don't resist it. It is happening outside, and therefore it's going to happen within you. And this is a great opportunity for you to really let go of the things that no longer serve you. It is a great opportunity for you to make certain decisions. See, people will say things like, yeah, but I'm not ready. Oh, it's a process. Listen, there's no time to play. There's no time for lengthy processes. It's a decision that you make. It's a choice that you make. Love is a choice. Forgiveness is a choice. Loyalty is a choice. Truth-telling is a choice. Just like the opposite of those things are choices that you make. And once you make the choice, then that is the principle upon which you base how you move in the world. So these are the times we're in. I hope that this resonated somewhere, somehow with someone. Yes, tough love. Somebody's like, oh, it's my king here, Hutton Williams. Tough love for us today, Mkulu. Togoza Keta. We have to be in tough love, because I would be failing at my work if I didn't come here to rattle you sometimes. You see, there's this perception by a lot of, and this is you being misled by palm-colored creatures who sit there and go, spiritualities. It is that too. But right now, we're in a war. So when we are in a war, then we have to roll up our sleeves and do the hard things. We are not yet at the stage where we can sit under trees and just go, oh. True? Am I lying? We are not yet at that stage where it is sufficient to sit under a tree and just go, oh. We are at the stage where the children of Kenya are demonstrating to us what time it is. We have young people in Kenya who are facing tear gas and rubber bullets and all sorts of things on the streets, and who are saying the smell of tear gas is the smell of freedom. And they pick up the canisters and they throw them back at the police. we're talking about kids who face soldiers with a baton ready to break her back. And she's like, I'm fighting for you too. Because I know where you are. You're hungry. How's it working out for you? You're also in the slums like the rest of us, while our resources are being sent overseas. So while you're about to break my back with that baton, do as you wish, but just know that I'm doing this for you too. What do you call that? You call that courage. You call that bravery. You call that having a lion heart. So as Bagwantu spiritually, that battle has already been waged. It's now here. So we deploy the physical now. One of the things that we have been taught about ourselves and we have internalized, and many of us have a very difficult problem with this, I did until a few years ago, is this idea that when palm-colored creatures turn around and use the word violent with us, we feel shame, we feel some type of way. Let me tell you, the same palm-colored creatures gave you a book that says the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence. And when you look at it on balance, just look at the world over. Who's the most violent creature on this earth? Okay, then. So embrace that term rather than making it have you cower like a coward, like a sniveling coward. It's not the time. I want to talk to my sisters for a minute. We get called all sorts of names, right? Oh, we're too masculine. Oh, we're too loud. Oh, we're too boisterous. When have we ever had a chance not to be? Because all we've ever done was fight. Nana Asantewa of Ghana. Queen Nzinga. Hatshepsut. Mbuya Nehanda. Winnie Mandela. Who are those women? Oh, Zinzi Mandela. Who are those women? What did they do? Those are women who had to do hard things that men wouldn't do because men cowered. So I want to talk to Indlovukazi. I want to talk to the goddess right here. What do we do when someone comes for our children? Do you fold your hands and say, oh, I need to be feminine, and oh, I need to be gentle, and no, I can't be violent? What do we do when someone comes for our children? We fight to the death. We unalive if we have to. So it's that time, Black woman. Be ready. Matter of fact, if you don't have a machete or if you don't have a pew-pew somewhere, I don't know what you're doing, because it's coming to that. Mark my words. One day you will remember when we no longer have internet and we're out there and it's Hunger Games. Y'all will remember that, that Mkulu said it. This isn't time to play. The liberation of Bakwantu is going to be a war, and it is already a war. We have the spiritual aspect to guide us and gird us, which is why we patla, that's why we talk to our ancestors, but they are ready for this. Palm-colored creatures are not going to give up easily. So again, Goddess, I ask you, when someone comes for our own, what do we do? Oh, it's that time. You see, our men, our children, they're all our children. They come through us. So someone is coming for our nation. What do we do? I'm ready to put my money where my mouth is. I'm not just here talking because I'm sitting on the internet. So let's get real about what is going on out there. I'm going to say this again because it irks me. Please minimize your distractions right now. We need everybody on board. And distractions have been strategically placed in our lives so that we are distracted. So that your spiritual eye is closed because your physical eyes are too preoccupied with what's going on a screen. Your senses, your spiritual senses are being dulled from the alcohol that you consume like a crazy person. While you're poisoning your system, you're also spiritually blind to what's going on out there. It's with purpose. They've hypersexualized you, this pornography up and down on Twitter, you name it, so that you are always distracted and separated from the spiritual self that needs to stay alert so that you can tap into the ethers, you can tap into the frequencies so you can know and read what's happening and what's about to come. The religions are there to dumb you down and to keep your twisted, colonized, enslaved mind that way. You need to be aware of the multitude of distractions they have put in front of you. Detach from all that. I would sooner you spend your time on TikTok, spiritual TikTok, geographic TikTok, TikTok where people are teaching you and are sharing things with you that will open your mind, than to go and sit in front of that horrible box and vegetate. As for our men, this business of spending hours obsessed with other men chasing a ball on a green field of grass, and they're running up and down, and then they kick it into a thing and they go, ah! Guys, when you sit down and you really analyze this whole idea of that sport and those kinds of sport and the inordinate amount of time people spend absorbed in that sport and the things that they are partaking in as they watch that sport, where is it getting us though as a people who are at war? Because whether you want to believe it or not or face it or not, Bakwantu, we are in war. This is wartime. The time for celebration and everything else will come. But currently, we have work to do. So you tell me, what will it be? We really need everybody on board. Hutton says, Mkulu, it's insane. Yeah, the distractions, it's insane. It's insane, my king. I mean, how do you sit in front? Like, imagine sitting for hours and you're just going, yeah, yes, oh man. And imagine the emotions that you're going through as your team wins and loses. And all that energy is loosh energy, and you're feeding the bottom feeders who are low vibrational, who love low vibrational energy, who love your torture and your excitement and your fear and your trauma. Yeah. So, that was a mouthful. I feel better. So I told you, when I get something and I get told I need to go and speak it and I don't, I literally get sick. And now look, the burping has calmed down. So Thank you for listening. Now, another thing I want to say. Today is the solar return of Baba Credo Mutwa. Baba Credo Mutwa came through the sacred portal into this world on July 21st. So he was Set the Destroyer. And man, did the man cause chaos. If you guys don't know Credo Mutwa, I have a pinned video that has all his books. Those who would like to read. He was a seer. For those who don't know, a lot of people who follow me already know this, but Bab Credo was one of the seers of our time. You know, many of you think of Nostradamus. He was a kind of Nostradamus in that sense. And he was the most humble, the most rejected man in South Africa because of the truths he told. His love for Bakwantu was so great, and many of us do the work we do, are called on this path as we try to fulfill that which he started. And we will leave it at another stage so others can take on. But Bab Credo, today, your day, we know that we want to make you proud. I know you hear me. Khehla ngiyazi ukuthi uyangizwa. Sifuna ukuthi uziqhenye ngathi. We want to make you proud. Your work was not in vain. Bab Credo predicted 9/11 in 1997. That is the kind of seer that he was, in great detail too. There are many other predictions of his. If you Google him, you will see a lot of material. The pinned post I have are some of the soft copies of his works. If you're interested, please, there's a pinned video with my number. I don't know if it's that same pinned video or the next one. Just send me a WhatsApp and then just ignore the automated message for other things. Just write PDF for Credo Mutwa or whatever. But I have a lot of resources that I'm happy to share with anyone who's interested in reading and learning more. So I wanted to pay special tribute tonight because, yeah, he's one of our ancestors who is alive and well, and who was saddened when in 94 there were so-called negotiations, and he said, I fear for South Africa because this thing that just happened is just going to put Bagwantu back into colonization. And he was right. Basically, he meant that the negotiations that happened were simply to make sure that there were handlers who would handle and manage black anger on behalf of white people. 30 years down the line, this is what has happened. And we're here now, post-94, and everyone is saying, what on earth happened? But Baba Credo said it. In 94, he was one of the, and that's why he was not liked by the establishment. That is why Helen Zille made a statement that was false about Bab Credo that led the youth in Soweto to rape his wife and to beat him up. They basically wanted to unalive him based on a lie by a palm-colored woman who currently now is in government position, has a high political post in the South African government. The question always being, South Africa is a thorn in Africa's side because it is the only place in the continent where white people still rule. And that is an abomination, and it is something, that is why this prevailing energy is going to move so quickly in destroying this system. So Yes, Chipo, thank you so much. Nkanyezi Healing Stores for Books. Guys, there are links all over the place. By the way, if you guys aren't subscribed to YouTube, if you'd like to rewatch some of the lives that I do here, I download and I repost on YouTube. Our family on YouTube is growing. I did promise, I think we're in 8,300 now. I did promise that when we get to 10K, I am going to start doing story time because there are a lot of people who are curious about me. A lot of people are curious about my spiritual journey, how I got to be where I am, what's going, that kind of thing. So I really, at 10K, I made that promise. I'm going to start sharing the things I'm allowed to share with you about my own personal journey. I feel like there are a lot of people who are like, Mkulu, we know you, but we don't really know you, Mkulu. So I'll be doing that. But I think story time is going to be lit. Somebody said story time is going to be awesome. Yeah, just as long as you come to story time with an open mind. Like, listen, this old girl has seen a lot, been through a lot. This old girl has I've seen some things that would make the hair on your chest stand if you've got hairs on your chest. So it is and I wouldn't be sharing that to be sensational or to but literally there's a lot that's been part of my journey that even I sometimes look at and I'm like so I look forward to those actually myself. So please, please go to YouTube. It's African Spirituality, Gogo Nkanyezi Speaks. I literally have hundreds of videos there on different things. And they're put in playlists. So I know some people go there and then they binge watch. Whatever you do, please watch the ads because really it helps with the revenue. As you know, guys, our work, no one pays us for this work that we do. And it's not like before where healers were taken care of by the community, where if you lived in a community and you were the community healer or seer, people made sure you had your vegetables, people made sure you had milk, people made sure that you were taken care of. It's not that kind of party anymore. So that's why in the sense of trying to just create revenue, for me primarily is to create revenue so that I can do some publishing for you guys as well, so that videos are great and everything, but everybody learns differently. Some people learn better with a written text in front of them. One of them is this. That's it's for children. It's basically the Kemetic gods and goddesses, and they're different animals. It's written in big print. It's a big book like this because it's for 5 to 9 year olds to learn about the 12 principles in a very simple manner. I'm still fixing a few things about it, and then it's going to go live on the store. Please do support because that's the other thing we need to do is we need to start teaching our children the truth because they're being fed nonsense in the system. You can literally counter that by giving them the truth at home. And I think everyone who has a child, especially a young child, really you have a responsibility and an obligation. You don't want your children to start finding out the things you're discovering at your age. You know how painful cognitive dissonance is. That period where you're faced with the truth and then you have to face the fact that your whole life has been based on a lie. It is a very, very painful thing. Our children don't have to do that because we've gone through that. So take it upon yourself. Once everything has been sorted out and it's correct. This is my copy just so that I can proof it. Once we've fixed everything, you can get it. It's going to be on Amazon. It's going to be on it's Amazon. What's the other one? Barnes and Nobles. It's going to be on different platforms. You just order your copy and then they send it to you. And then one day when we meet, you can bring your copies or your copy and I'll sign it for you. I look forward to meeting you guys at some point. And that needs to happen soon. In the next couple of years or so, is to create a community where we actually meet and as a collective we pasha together, we ritual together. and we demonstrate to the Neteru that we mean business. Yeah. So on that note, I think I've covered everything for this live, but do keep looking out. There's a lot, but in the immediate, I did want to talk about the end of the season of Set and the full moon. Simple ritual. Our full moon is for letting go. So all you need is a pen and a paper. Write out those things you need to let go of. Make sure you mean it, and then burn it. And it is finished. And then you walk back inside. Right? Simple letting go rituals like that. This is the time I also do cord cutting rituals. Cord cutting rituals are rituals where I cut ties spiritually that you may have with someone who you no longer want. It could be a boyfriend. It could be a family member you really need to do a cord cutting of so that you can move on with your life. Sometimes we have these kind of relationships that on the physical look like they're like this, but it's actually a spiritual cord that exists, and for some reason you find you cannot get away from this person. No matter how toxic they are, no matter how hard you try, you always end up back. This is where the cord cutting ritual comes in. This is the time that I do them because the full moon is a time of cutting and letting go. So just wanted to share that with you guys. Anyone who feels they need that. Obviously, I just don't do rituals off the top of my head. We would have to do a thorough consultation to actually find out what's going on, because the interference with your etheric body, your Taurus field, and someone else's is sacred work, and I don't take that lightly. So we would have to check to make sure, first and foremost, that you ain't lying to me about something. And then secondly, to make sure that my ancestors align with yours in terms of this work, because I don't work alone. I actually am just a vessel. So on that note, I'm going to love you guys and leave you. And I will see you on the next live, or see you, if you're on YouTube, see you on the next upload. Masithokozeni. Love you guys.